Okie dokie. Welcome, guys, to, I'm calling it now the TVAS Sunday night team party. I think that's what I called it. It sounds fun for a team call. Forget the team call. It's a team party Sunday night. Be there or be square. So welcome. Today is November 23rd. And I am excited about this call because, one, it is leading us into a holiday week. So it's a really important call. Two, because we have a co-host. So, and you don't have to listen to me the whole time. So I'm going to go into that in a little bit, but I wanted to go through a few things before we get started so that I can hand over the floor to my co-host, Maria. Okay, so like I said, we have a holiday coming up for us in the U.S. You guys already had yours up north. But I was talking to Doug the other day about challenge groups, and I was telling him how we're running our, these team groups right now, and it's been great. And the excitement on the 5-day group, the excitement for the 21-day fix group has been amazing. Now, for our next group, which is the Beachbody Challenge group, I have scheduled for December 8th. Okay, so that is 1 week after Thanksgiving. That's also the week after our 5-day group. So you know me, I like to be strategic. Well, he was giving me some great ideas about this, talking about focusing on doing this group as families. 90% of our people are not going to jump on board with Insanity Max 30 if they're brand new, right? That would just be crazy. So when you're spending time with your family this weekend, I want you guys to be prepared. Be prepared for conversation, just conversation. Because if they've been following you on Facebook, they will bring it up. And you need to be prepared to tell people what you're doing. Oh, yeah, and I'll give you an example. Last night, I went to a surprise party for one of Jeremy's best friends. Now, Jeremy's group of friends are, they've been friends since they were kids, but they go every month. They go to this bar restaurant that's on the Hollywood Strip that they've been going to since they were 15 and they weren't supposed to be there. So every month they all go, and they've been friends forever. So they're old rockers. And if you guys know Jeremy in the past, he had like crazy hair. He was glam rock, the whole thing. So this group of friends is kind of in that environment, right? Not necessarily healthy fit kind of group of people that I typically hang out with. So I'm at the party, and his guy friends were like, hey, I'm a lurker on Facebook. I watch you all the time. And my natural instinct now, because I like to make fun of myself, I got over the fact that I was trying to impress people. My natural instinct is, well, you can always click that little unfollow button if I just become too much. Because it kind of breaks the ice and it makes things funny, because I post all the time, right? And you probably post all the time. So when you poke fun at yourself, it really eases conversation. Now, you'd be surprised at the responses I got. So I say, that's just natural for me. Oh, you can click the unfollow if I become too much. Don't worry. I know I post all the time. They go, no, we absolutely love it. We think it's so motivating. Okay, let me tell you, these guys are the last people I thought in the world that would say something like that. So people are watching you, and you have no idea that they are. So when you go into this weekend and you're sitting there talking to family, be prepared to poke fun at yourself, to take things lightly, and to not take things personal. Because I'll tell you, in the same conversation, oh no, you've been so motivating. It's been great. So are you home now? Are you doing that full time now? I'm like, yep, I'm doing that full time. The next comment was, so much for that degree of yours. Okay, so I could have taken that personally. The old me would have taken that personally. But I'm like, hell no, I'm using it. That was my response to kind of knock that out. So if you go into the weekend prepared to inspire people because that's what you're doing, people know that you're doing it. Okay, you're making an effort out there on Facebook. You're posting, you're finding, you're coming up with good posts, because we talk about that now all the time. Take the time. I'm noticing it a lot with you guys, that your posts are so much more well thought out. Amazing. People are noticing that, and it will come up this weekend. So I want you guys to be prepared. Yeah, I'd love to have you in a challenge group. We have one starting on the 8th, and if I get as many people together at one time, and people can do it together, I would love to have you. Okay, so I really wanted to stress that with you so that you don't go into the weekend and be surprised at the conversations, because then you won't be prepared. And then guess what? You're going to be home on Sunday night, and you're going to be kicking yourself for not having those conversations. So I wanted to make a point to say, okay, we do have a group that starts the 8th. So be prepared for that. If you can get those conversations going, or they ask you, then be ready. And you'll be surprised. I'm telling you, surprised. I almost fell over. Two of the guys said the exact same thing. And you're actually looking at my stuff? Like, really? So anyways, I wanted to say that. Focus on doing it together as a family. And those that are doing it as a family are typically not the ones that are going to be doing Insanity Max 30. Those are the ones that are going to be doing Power 90. But here's an opportunity for you to speak face-to-face with those people that you can connect with something like Power 90. And then, of course, that Insanity Max 30 is the bonus. So I wanted to make sure that you knew that. So the free group should be closed. Everybody should have their Shakeology orders locked in and ready to go, because I don't think that they're going to get it in time if they order after that. This was such a hit that we're going to do it again. So keep those people in mind. If it's too late and they saw their thing and they just responded, say, I'll keep you in mind for the next one. Put their name on a list. Put their name on a whiteboard. And then our team 21-day fix, I'm excited to do that because I want to get my nutrition back in check. And that kind of leads me into, some of you may have seen that I went and did an intro to CrossFit yesterday. And I knew that I would get the response that I got, because I've always been really skeptical of it. And I did a video, if you guys want to know why I'm doing CrossFit and you haven't seen it. I did a video. There's always a method to my madness. But I'm going back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Yes, I am getting my butt up and doing it, and then doing the fix with you guys, so that I am going to be feeling great. And we have before and after pictures, and we will be able to start the year off 100% prepared and just start right out the gate. Okay. And then I wanted to tell you one more thing. Some of you may have seen I had a Zoom call with Tracy Morrill this week, who is my idol, like for years. And when she reached out to me and said she was doing something with her leadership in her downline and included me in that and wanted to get on a Zoom call with me, I spoke to her for an hour just like this. It was just surreal for me. But I have something really exciting for you guys. I'm going to be sharing it in the team page this week. Let me just say that you will be able to market this to your prospects, to your coaching prospects. Everybody under the sun knows who John Maxwell is, right? Thumbs up, John Maxwell. You are going to be personally mentored by John Maxwell. And here's how. I have committed to being a part of a group with Tracy Morrill and some other Beachbody leadership, which you would recognize the names for sure, in a group of, I think it's 25 or 30. I think Mike Ryan is one of them. I think Jed Welty is one of them. And there's an event, a John Maxwell event in March, that is a small group of people that Tracy had hand-selected. The great thing is she wants to be able to duplicate this, us to be able to duplicate this with our team. So I'm going to be working closely with her, closely with John Maxwell, to be able to duplicate this kind of training with him, his word. There will be monthly phone calls. It is a fee. I found out real quick. I found out how much it costs to have John Maxwell speak at Summit. If you guys were lucky enough to be there and just fell in love with him even more, it costs $100,000 to have him speak for 1 hour, and 2 first-class tickets and all that fun stuff. $100,000 for a freaking hour. So you guys will be able to market that, and I will be able to push this out to you the best way possible. You guys are going to be my sole focus with this training and this leadership, and he's going to be giving us activities and tasks to work on for the month, and I'm going to be passing that along to you, which is unreal, you guys. Unreal. John Maxwell. I'm sorry. Okay, that's it. Now, I want to, you guys were more excited to see my co-host than me because you always see me. So I'm excited that, actually, that Ellie brought it up, and I don't know why I didn't bring it up because Ellie is smarter than me, so she's kicking my butt. To have Maria as our co-host, because Maria is killing it. And these two are like going neck and neck now, and it's super fun to watch. And I say, and you guys know who've been on the call, Maria's here every week, you know. She's like absorbing, applying, and why wouldn't I want her to share? So I appreciate Ellie, you know, to bring that up, and I really am excited for Maria to share her wisdom, her knowledge. She's been signing up coaches left and right. There's definitely a method to her madness. So she's going to share that. She's going to share a little bit about her story. And I'm going to hand it over to you so that you can share with us. Tell us something about, you know, you tell us your story, a little bit of background, how long you've been a coach, and then, you know, your wisdom. I'm going to unmute you here. Okay, and then I'm going to stop.
Okay.
All right, there you go. You're on.
Okay. I took notes, so I have quite a few pages, but I was going to start, and thanks, Ellie, for kind of throwing me on the bus, but I knew it was coming when she said it. My story, I kind of, like Anna, I had fertility issues, and I got down to, I don't have a big weight loss story either until I got pregnant. I got down to 127 pounds, and found out I had infertility issues after 2 miscarriages. And anyone who has ever tried to conceive and had issues, it is all consuming. It's kind of like Beachbody, but it all consuming in a more of a depressing way. And found out I had a uterus that is half the size of a normal uterus. So it was challenging. Finally, I got pregnant, was on bed rest. And I'm a late mom. I'm 40, I'll be 43 in February. So my son's 4. So during my pregnancy, I gained 50 pounds. That's a lot. And after I had Caden, I lost, probably at work, because I went back to work right after, for the 3 months, worked for 6 months and walked every day 4 miles a day because I parked my car away from work. That way I had to walk. And so just by walking, lost like 20 pounds, became a stay-at-home mom, gained the weight back, eating whatever he didn't eat or whatever. Went to a birthday party in February, and someone took a picture and posted it, and I was like, who is that? Why is that? And so that was kind of my, whoa, I got to do something about this, because I was normally in sweatshirts, didn't care how tight or baggy, I didn't care until I actually went out and had the muffin top and all that fun stuff. And so I started walking and running, and I lost probably about, 7 pounds, and that was running almost 8 miles a day. I got it to, and I'm like, okay, this is just nothing. Read articles about women over 40. If you just do cardio, you're going to start burning muscle. I'm like, okay, had Insanity on my shelf. So, all right, July 1st, that's it. I'm doing it. Started that. A month in, I was in a group with Ashley Schumacher. We had a mutual friend, a high school friend of mine, and a Red Bull mutual friend of hers. She got me in there. She's like, hey, I see you doing Insanity, everything you're supposed to do. It took her about 2 weeks to get me to sign. I signed up, started T25, started as a coach, and started working probably the next day as a coach. I didn't waste any time. I just got online, got team victory training, went for it. All balls out completely. Read book after book after book, and I was doing really well. What I have behind me is December of last year. This was at Mike Ryan's party. If you guys can see that. See all these coaches up here? All these coaches. Yeah, that's a whole story in itself, Anna. I had all these coaches, me and my husband. We were killing it. And I mean, at the time I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm killing it. Personal thing, we're separated. So when that separation happened, people separated from me. And it was devastating from February until right before, I'm not even going by my notes, right before Summit. I was like, I don't know. Ashley was reaching out to me. I'm just like, I don't know where I am right now. I'm kind of lost. I posted stuff. I still worked out, not as much. Didn't do any self-development. Didn't do any team calls. I would see Anna posting, everybody posting all this positive stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm not looking at that. That's nothing. Because that's where you get sometimes. And we have to understand that I think we've all been there. And I can admit it. I told Ashley, well, I don't want to see your guys' positive stuff. I know that's where I need to be. But I took a step back for probably 3 or 4 months. And Summit came. I had earned my ticket. Success starter, because I did, I kicked butt in the beginning. And so I'm like, you know what? I have to go. I drove in my car from Sacramento to Vegas by myself, had a ice chest. I barbecued a bunch of chicken because I didn't have a lot of money. I mean, I was going through a separation. Barbecued chicken, took peaches, plums, apricots, all the fruit from my farm that we have here. Road trip. Mom's on a road trip. Till I went by myself. I had already paid for the room. The whole time I was there in Vegas, I spent, I think, $10 at Starbucks, and I spent $25 on a pair of T25 shorts. $40 is all I spent, excluding my room that I'd already paid for. But what I gained from going to Summit, I'm going to cry. It was completely life-changing for me. Knowing at home things weren't good, but knowing that this is where it changed for me, from thinking, it's all monetary. Okay, I got to make money. That's not what the company's about. That's where it flipped for me. I was like, this is the real deal. All of these amazing people, all these people I'm just sitting next to in this huge room, you just start to talk to them and find out their story. And I'm there by myself. I was there by myself. I saw Ashley at 2 parties and then passed her in the hallways. So I was there with 10,000 coaches by myself. But I went and worked out with Shaun T. I up at 5 o'clock. I did 21-day fix, walked right over to Insanity. That is freaking crazy. I went there. I didn't stop though. I'm like, I came here to do these things and experiences. I swear I was going to die doing Insanity, but it wasn't like 30 minutes. It was an hour. The man's crazy. Walking around you. And I'm like, please don't come by me because I'm about to die. So when I came back, whole thing changes. My whole life changed. I was, everybody else is here that was bringing me down. Started listening to the calls again, started tuning in to Anna, started posting on my page, listening to Mike all the time, which I kind of listen to Anna more now, and doing the self-development, because that really, really helps. Because we're in a dark place, even though it may be a business self-development in a way, it really speaks to you, especially with the failing forward. Totally speaks to me. And so I went, even though I just came back and I had spent all this money and all this time on Summit, I went straight to Bakersfield to Super Saturday right after Summit, because I had to go. I just, I had to go. And learned so much from Mary Jane. She talked about your why. I mean, she was crying because that's what your why is. Your why, she made us all close our eyes, and your why should make you cry. It really should, because you're doing this for something that's deep-seated for most of us. And if you think you're not, like I did for a while, it's not your real why. It's okay. I mean, if it works for a while, but it's not your real why. My dad died in 2001, poor health. My mom died 2004. My uncle died last year. So all my uncles are dead on my dad's side. So that's all poor health. And it's all back here. And I know that. And now I know why I'm so adamant about being healthy and having a healthy lifestyle. And I'm spring chicken. I'm older than Anna. And so I'm out there busting my butt too. And I'll be 43 in February. It's not easy, but I have to do it. I also drove all the way I was going to go to Anna's Super Saturday because I've gone to local Super Saturday. Didn't like it. And so I was going to go to Anna's this time in September, and she canceled it. It doesn't matter. I ended up seeing her anyway. I drove all the way to Orange County from Sacramento because that's how important it is. I drove down, spent the night with my ex, and then drove the next day to Orange County, drove all the way back home for it was like 2 hours, 3 hours, but it was worth it. There's so many things I picked up there. I saw Anna, I saw Heather, saw Ashley, my coach. It's just worth it. Now getting to where I am today from rebounding from all this turmoil in my life, hindsight's 2020. As far as signing up coaches, before I had people signed up. I had people drinking Shakeology. I had people doing challenge groups. I have 38 people in my challenge group. I have one combined now because I had so many, like 3 different ones. I'm like, I'm just going to combine all you lifers. And it's cool because everyone, bounces stuff off each other. But I also do the free challenge groups too. I do 5, 7, or 14 days. So in September, why I was so successful is I watched one of the team calls. I think Virginia was the one who did the event. Was that who did the event? Anna? Yeah. She talked about the events. And a light bulb goes on. I'm like, I have never done an event. I need to try this. Oh my God. I did it. I got 20 Success Club points that month. And it wasn't just all me. I was talking to Anna at Super Saturday. You feel intimidated to invite people. Let's say I'm like, well, my friend's an MD. I don't know. She sees my posts, but she makes money. I don't know. She's healthy. She is, I don't know. Well, this one grabbed her. I got her in the event. And I'm like, I'm just going to invite her. All she can say is no. She invited like 15 people. And those people invited friends too. So I ended up having, like I said, 20 Success Club points in September. And that still rolled over to October because people were still saying, oh my gosh, Dr. Hattie, she's doing so good, blah, blah. And then the coaching thing came about where Anna's, the coaching opportunity. I'm like, well, let me put it on my page. Let me just, step out there. And that same doctor, my good friend, she came to me, says, oh my gosh, I totally want to be a coach. I started crying. I'm like, I totally wanted to ask you, but I was so scared because you would be so perfect for it. But it's that whole, she's a doctor, husband's a doctor. They don't, that's just what I saw. I'm like, I don't think they need it. But like I told Anna, shame on me for not thinking that they would need something like this. 3 kids. I think 21-day fix, she lost about 11 pounds and dropped a pant size. And everyone at her work sees it. And so now she's one of my working coaches. And in October and November combined, I signed up 6 coaches. And what I also did was I have friends from high school who drink Shakeology, and they've been drinking it for a year with me. And I was like, why don't I just ask? I know they want to get a discount. I mean, they know the value. They can afford what they're paying now. And so what I said was, hey, so-and-so and so-and-so, because we all went to, all 3 of us went to school together. I said, hey, I know you see the value in Shakeology. You guys are never sick. You've told me that, how great it is. I said, if you become a discount coach, no strings attached, you pay the $39.95 right now, but within 2 months, you'll get that money back. I said, you don't have to work the business. It benefits me and my business if you do that, and it benefits you monetarily if you do it. Hell yeah, we're in. And one of her friends, she was in. So that was 3 coaches I got within 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. It was that simple. And I think it goes back to what Justin was saying last week is you just be transparent. I said it the way that I want it. I mean, that was the honest to God reason why. I wanted them to save money and I wanted them to help me. It's a win-win. And if you're honest with people, then, because what if down the road they sign up and then they see that, oh, you signed me up just to be under you as a coach. That doesn't look good. I remember we've been friends since the 3rd grade and kindergarten, these 2 of mine. They'd be like that. Why don't you just say that? So why not just say it and get it out there? And that's what I did. And what I do now is in the events, if people say, oh yeah, I totally want to do it, I'll talk to them. I'll find what their goals are. It comes up, how much is it? This is how much it is. And I do the same thing that Justin does. I'm like, if you want to do a program, that's okay. But I've been drinking Shakeology for, since August. I tell them all the benefits. And I say, but you can get a discount. It's up to you. You save this much money, no strings attached. Basically, the company knows that X percentage usually sign up to coach because of, you know, the great benefits of the programs, that they just offer this. So if you want to do it, do it. If not, that's okay too. And probably about 99% of them so far, I talked to 3 today. I just put it out there. They're like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. So I'm just waiting for, you know, what I made a mistake. I told someone 21-day fix challenge pack was 140. It was 160. So she's kind of on the fence now. But I'm just upfront with it. I just tell them, you know. And before I was really scared. I was really scared to ask for that. And I know Justin said that his thing isn't discount coaches, but for me, it's easier to ask, and I think it's an easier transition for them down the road if they're like, oh, I totally want to work the business. Instead of spending the extra $40, they're already on and they already know because you've already had that conversation. Like, hey, you know, if you're going to kick ass, that's what I tell them. I know you're going to kick ass on this. So it's just a natural progression for you just to want to help people because they're going to see you be awesome. And that's just what happens. And so that's how lately that I've been doing it. I've just, you know, and I think I'm at Success Club 8 right now. And of course, Ellie in like a day kicked my butt. So yeah, we do go back and forth because we're success partners now. I asked her to be my girlfriend. And I did. And so, and you know, it's a good thing because we text and we send good ideas back and forth. And, it helps, you know, push because she saw me. She's like, oh my gosh. I said, you're going to get it. And that same night is when she posted, I think she said too, that she was up to 14. I'm like, oh, she totally did it. And it's cool. And I'm like, well, now I need 14 points. She's probably at 20 now. I don't even know. But if you don't have a success partner, you should probably get one. I know sometimes they say it shouldn't be a person on your team. It's, you know, it doesn't have to be. But in my case, I kind of clicked with her. I think, you know, she's kind of abrupt and so am I. And I can just talk to her. I can be real. And you need to find someone I think that you look up to and inspires you. Because I remember at Super Saturday, I was like, well, yeah, my assistant's going for 20. I'm like, oh, there's no way this new girl is going to beat me. I mean, that was my mentality. It's not a bad mentality. It's like, you know, a little friendly competition. That's with the whole referral too. When you brought that up, today in my group, I always tell people now, as a friend, you know, it's, you know, a friendly competition always makes, you know, you work out harder, which it does. And the same goes for Success Club and your Success Club, your success partner. You always want to one up. It's not a bad thing. It's a competition, and we joke about it. And you know, she's kicking butt, and so am I. And we both have different ways of doing things, but we definitely learn from each other and pull things from each other. And I'll say things, they're like, I don't even know what that is. I should probably know what that is. And same thing goes. She'll say something to me. I'm like, oh, why didn't I think of that? I've been doing this for 16 months and you're only like 3 months in, you know, it's just, we all grasp at different things. It's like on our pages too, things that, like I did a handstand and like all these people were like, oh my God, what are you doing? I was like, what do I do? I'm like, all I did was a handstand. That's like something you do when you're 7 years old, you know? And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm 42. I'm standing on my hands and people are like, holy shit. But it's just different things for different people, different poses that you do, and just try different things. Even though you're uncomfortable, I'm uncomfortable doing stuff in my house, and you know, I don't have a big house, I have all these nice things, but you know what? It's who I am. I'm going to connect with those people who have and don't have, you know, what I have. And the other thing is telling your story. I really think that the videos and you telling your story, because sometimes. I know I have friends who know what I've been through, but, you know, there's a lot of things that I don't share with people on my Facebook because we don't want to really do that. But I think at some point we all should. It's that why that makes you cry. And I finally figured it out the other day, and I was going to post it, but I wanted to wait until this meeting because I wanted to talk to you guys all fresh and not you guys be like, oh, I heard her story already. But I think it's important to put that out there because, you know, and because I listened to a call we were supposed to listen to in the Emerald to Diamond, that people go to your like page to connect. They can go anywhere on the internet and see someone doing these poses and, you know, looking all cool, but they want to connect to who you are. I don't have my story on my Facebook. I mean, I'll put a picture and say, this was me last year, this is me now. Okay, well, they have to, in their mind, say, okay, she did something in between. But I think them knowing the history of like my mom being bipolar, growing up in that kind of environment, there's somebody out there like that who's just like me, who went through that, have 2 deceased parents, biological parents. So I just have to find a way of getting out there without crying to the hole. I only wanted it to be like 3 minutes. But I think that we all need to do that. And, I know it's embarrassing sometimes, but, we don't get to choose who our parents are, but all we can do is be, like Mike Ryan always says, be the best version of yourself every day. And that's what I try to do. And I'm pretty new in the business. 16 months isn't that much. But I've lost rank. I got to Emerald, lost Emerald. I was like, oh, I'm going to die. Oh, this sucks. But it's not the end of the world. I came back within a week. And it's just overcoming those fears. And I think it hasn't taken me that long to overcome those fears. A few weeks. I mean, it was just September that I asked one person, and I told her, like, when we were on our coaching call, I said, you changed my life just in one phone call because you made me have confidence in myself. It only takes one person that you're scared to ask, or you can help them, or you think you can, but you're just scared. Don't be scared, because shame on us for not. Because we're in a business, but we're also, what I always tell people is, I did Avon for a minute, and it's like I didn't sell anything because I'm not a salesperson, and Avon isn't really something people need, and they don't really benefit. You can get makeup anywhere. So I always compare that experience to this experience. I spent probably over $1,000 in the first month buying a booth at a convention, buying all this product, and I still have it in my pantry, and it's all toxic, so it's going to sit there. So, I feel good about the products because it helps people. When you reach that point where it's not the whole monetary, I stress about money too. And I'm like, but it's about, it really, honest to God, is about helping people feel good. Because when my challengers come back to me, especially that September group where I had everyone doing 21 Day Fix, and they're all like, oh, because of you. And it's like, thank you. But I wasn't doing the workouts. I just was in a group, giving you an attaboy every time you said you did this, or looking at your food and actually reading what they were eating and commenting. Because I found myself doing that for a while. Oh yeah, I like it. Everyone commented. Everyone put their food in there. And then someone called me. They're like, on something. They're like, hey, and I forget what it was. I'm like, oh, duh. I need to really agree with their eating and comment and say, hey, you didn't eat enough to work out that much. Because some people work out on top of the workouts. Some of you see. So you really need to let them know that, we're in this group and you post positive things and we'll talk, but are you really reading my accountability? So, and I've been called out too, like, Maria, you ate nothing today. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I put it in there, right? And Ashley got me one time, I was eating these popsicles. Finally, she's like, Maria, do you know there's antifreeze in those? I'm like, oh, shit. Because Ashley Schumacher's all about that kind of stuff. And I don't know if she's on the call or not, but she called me out. So now I'm always looking at all the ingredients, and you're basically working out, but you're putting all this, and people think they can outwork a crappy diet. And we're not, I'm not in my 20s anymore. It doesn't work anymore, so we really have to make sure when they buy, especially 21 Day Fixes, we always push that, containers and meal plan. We have to really watch, because some people are like, I'm not getting any results. It's because we're not watching what they're really eating, because some of them just think they can have that hamburger from McDonald's, because I saw that too. So that's it for me. I just kind of learned to be honest about it and be who I am, and realize that I don't compare myself to other people. I mean, I wish I was in Anna's seat right now. I wish I had Kim Kardashian's money, but that's not me. I don't want her anything else, but I want her money. But that's not who I am. I'm Maria, and I need to focus on people. It's a lot less people, but it all trickles down eventually. And I've learned to be patient, and I've had some real crappy times, but you know what? I was talking to someone the other day. If it wasn't for this business right here, I would probably not be here today. And I mean, living, because you log in, you see all the positive stuff, and it keeps you above where you really are in those dark places. And I've been through, this is my second marriage, and not with kids. I only have one kid, and it's difficult, but to have such a positive group, and people always saying positive things to you, not even knowing what's going on in your background, but they still lift you up. And that's what I want to do for people. I want to be that person who they're like, it wasn't just the weight, Maria. It wasn't just the the food, I was depressed. I almost killed myself, but because of all the stuff I read about you or Beachbody or whatever, now that I'm a coach, it changed my life. And that's what it did for me. That's where I am today. It's not, I love the every Thursday paychecks. I'm up to about 300 a week now, which is good for me, but it saved my life. I mean, in a real way. And it's hard to say these things, but you guys are my family, right? And so I want you to know where it's helped me. And maybe I can inspire anybody. Anyone can reach out to me anytime. Just like, I reach out to people when I can. It's just about being honest. I think Justin really hit that one. It's just being honest and being who you are. Justin and I talked and spoke a lot at Summit too. And, it's just, like I said, just be honest and be who you are, and don't try to be Lindsay Matway. And because, she started from nothing too. She was in a very dark place, and she pulled herself up, and then it's because of the business, and she never thought she could do it either. And look where she is today. She's walking. She's a beautiful person inside and out. Yeah, she looks like a Barbie doll. That's just superficial. She's I watched her talk, at Summit. She's just a genuine person. And that's what we all need to remember. Just be genuine and be who you are, and everything will come together in time. That's all I got.
That is a lot. And I am like, that was amazing. It was so I could sit here and listen to you all night, honestly. I have a page of notes, because that's exactly who you are. You're just being you. And, when you put my observation, you put your notes away and you're like, that's what I do, because I'm not perfect, but my message is who I am. And that's exactly what you did. And it hits hard because you're real. You struggle, but you also overcame those things. And so sharing that with, I'm just bummed that there are only 13 people on here, and I sure hope that everybody watches this recording, because it is a blessing to be able to hear your story and what you just went through. And this is like you've touched on everything. You've touched on someone being a new coach, being afraid. You've touched on someone being a coach that was successful. Stuff happened. You bounced back from that. Now you're killing it. You touched on, what does it mean to have a success partner? You touched on how to run a challenge group. You touched on who to talk to and how to talk to them. For me, I know that it's funny because in the Emerald to Diamond group, the subject was about, really engaging with your challengers, and you touched on that. And I know that I'm guilty of that because I am busy and it sucks. And I hate that part of me that doesn't engage more. And I have to force myself to just stop, pay attention, like I did 5 years ago when I only had 3 people to work with, So for me, that's helpful. That's a reminder of me to be freaking accountable and to be engaging in my challenge groups. So I have, so thank you for sharing, because
thank you.
And events, and you literally were like, this needs to be the call that everybody needs to watch. Okay, so but I do have some questions that I think might also be helpful for takeaways for those that are watching this. And all of you guys that are on here, you need to post on the team page how awesome this team call was tonight and why they need to watch it. Okay, so you touched on fear. So if you could give, let's just say there's a coach on this call or someone watching the recording that, and I'm picturing, I always and I think it's Shalene that says this all the time. You always sit there and picture one particular person. When you create a post, you picture that one avatar that we talk about, that one person that you're speaking to. So for me, when I think of coaches on my team, there are specific coaches I think of when I ask questions. So for somebody who maybe has been a coach since Summit, And has been, in their minds, they came out of the gate strong. A month, they hit Success Club, and then they stopped being successful in their mind, and they fear that what they're doing is wrong, or there's this fear. What would you give someone like that as an action item to get over their fear of being unsuccessful?
When I was in that position, it was because of what was going on in my life. So hindsight, kind of like what I read in Failing Forward, is get over yourself. Everybody else has. I mean, it's not a bad thing. And look at why you're doing this. Because if you're doing it because your goal is money, which I think a lot of us get into it in the beginning, that's why, it's not going to work. It's going to work because you want to do it and because what you're posting is you. Like I did a plank on a guardrail up by the river on my house because you and I had a conversation one day when no one called in on the Emerald and Diamond. Lucky me, had just a meeting with Anna and me. She said, look at where, she looked at my page because, you know, she had time. I'm on 20-something acres. I'm always with my, this is the first team call I've had makeup and my hair down because of Ellie. I'm like, I got to look decent. Because I'm always with my hair up. It's always dirty because I work out and I come, you know, I listen, I'm out in the yard. We have chickens, I have rabbits, I have snakes, rats. I mean, I have everything. And so, you know, Anna said, utilize and brand yourself. So I'm like, oh, so I did a Wacky Wednesday. I did a handstand by a tree with, you know, bright leaves because that's wacky. It's a farm. That's where I live. I did, the plank on the guardrail, silly, stupid, but that's where I am. It came out really good though. I was like, oh, the river, look, in the river, I have a river right there. So branding yourself isn't coming up with, hey, I'm Brandy Botts. You know, that's what I used to think. Oh, Brandy Botts. Oh, Janelle, I looked at all their stuff, but that's not me. I don't have the baseball player husband, and I don't have, you know, I'm not Janelle who I can go do all these cool things. Because my sister, lucky her, awesome team, but that's not me. So, and it was just recently that all this, my light bulb came on within the last 3 months. So this wasn't like last year. It's us struggling to come out and say, what the hell is branding? What is that? That's what I do. And so in my mind, I think about, you know, who cares if I lose 10 people on Instagram because, oh, that stupid girl on a freaking tractor, what the hell is she doing? And work out. You don't get me. I'm never going to get anything. You're never going to want what I have to offer. So see ya. So you kind of bite the bullet there. That's what I say. Do what makes you feel good. And we always say, like I just said, don't compare, but we're going to do it. But until you come out and figure out who you are, and I wouldn't have done that unless you said so. Look at what your property. Oh, duh. So that's what I did. Yeah. And that's what kind of turns things around.
Yeah. Okay. That's helpful. And I think that, and Carrie's on this call, and Carrie posted about kind of the same thing, like, hey, let's help each other out. What do you see on my page? I wish I could go through everybody's page. You benefited from that because we had the time, and I just scrolled through. And this way, you all have a vision of what you can look at somebody's page and get an idea of who that person is or what that person portrays. And if they come back and they say, well, this is what I see on your page, and you in your heart say, well, that's really not what I wanted to say, then you know exactly what you need to change. Right. So yes, getting feedback from other people is really important. And that comes along with, you know, we all work as a team. Reach out to someone. And that's exactly it. And then this kind of goes into my next thing, was about success partners and accountability partners. You guys just reached out to each other. And you, like you said, it's, you know, sometimes it's, you know, reaching out to somebody on another team. And I think that comes in play when you're at an event and you reach and you meet somebody and you're like, God, we just connect. It can be somebody on the same team. It doesn't have to be forced. Like, that just came natural because you both saw each other at the same place, and you're like, boom. And the reason I say that is because every accountability partner that success partner that I have came about that same way. We both saw each other, and there's just like this boom. So you don't have to force it. You just connect with people, and then you realize, dang, we have a lot in common. Hey, and then you start that communication. You start to kind of push each other. So I think that it's very important, but I also think that don't force it. Just keep your eyes open and connect with people, and you just never know. Maybe it takes you 6 months to find a success partner. Maybe not. I mean, you've been in the business a lot longer than Ellie has, you know, and here you've connected, and you probably have been looking, you know. It takes time sometimes, just like with our challengers. So, so what would you say an action item for finding a success partner would be?
Well, I reached out to both my success partners. First one, we still talk, but we just didn't click that way, pushing each other. And I know she knows. I know she's on this team too. She could be on the call. I don't know, but it's nothing personal. It's just that sometimes that pushing doesn't work, and that's just. I mean, and we still communicate. We still help each other. It's no big deal. For me, well, because I listened to Ellie on the call. She's a mom. She's my husband, ex-husband, however you want to say it, is a firefighter. So I get that whole cop firefighter life. And I'm like, okay, she's abrupt. I was a firefighter too. So I know how all that being in the men's world is too. So just a lot of things, you know, and just her multitasking, nursing her baby while she's on the call. And that's something I would do. I don't know if anybody else noticed that. I was like, what is she doing? I'm like, she's nursing.
She did that in here, like when we're talking. It's like,
I was like, that's cool.
Oh yeah, okay, go.
Yeah, so just those little things. I was just like, I really like her, and just some of her comments. And so I reached out to her because you can't be afraid. I mean, all she says, no, I work for Anna, I'm good. But she's like, oh, totally, let's do it. And then that was it. We just we switched numbers, shared phone numbers, and we text because we're not always in front of the computer. And she'll see cool things on Instagram. Hey, this will work for you, and I'll send things to her. This will work for you, and we help because we don't have this. We're not friends on Facebook, and I'm not on her like page either. So we don't have mutual. That's another thing, because you might share some stuff, so you really don't want to have mutual friends. That's a really key thing, because I've stolen stuff from you, Anna. I kind of made it my own, but we don't have mutual friends. I don't do a lot, but I'm like, oh, I love that recipe. I want to share that. Or I'll even say, my fellow coach put this on her page, think it's a great idea. I don't take credit for it. And you have to be honest. That's their thing. Anything
integrity.
Right.
Right. It's a big deal. That's a big topic that we talked about. Tracy and I talked about for like an hour about integrity and about how amazing our teams are with integrity. And and you know, we're good with that. That's why I can sleep at night, because I have the most amazing coaches on my team. And I have to say something, and I think I have a couple of questions, but I have to say also that when you, and I don't want to cry because you know me, I will. When you, I'm gonna get through this. When you talked about how this changed your life, the one thing I thought of, and I want you guys all to know this, because this goes along with throwing out the fears. If it weren't for me reaching out to Ashley at some point in the last 5 years and having that conversation with her, she would not be in this business, and therefore she would not have gone through this with you, and you wouldn't be here, and here we are. This has changed your life because so many things before that. So if you guys think about the one conversation you have could lead to something so much bigger than just that one coach signing up or that one challenger signing up. I can go through the list of people on this team, and I'm a big story collector, and I can go through, if I had been afraid to have a conversation with so-and-so, then 3 other people behind this, their lives would not have changed. And that is why I do what I do, because I want to affect the people behind the people. I want to affect the people that I connect with, of course. But when you hear stories like this, if I hadn't talked to Ashley about being a coach, then your life may not have been changed. And it was just that one conversation that I had. And how many other lives is she changing? And then how many other lives are you changing just because of that one conversation? And if I was too fearful to do it, then that's wrong on me. Because you have the ability to change somebody's life, and you have no idea
right.
that it's not even the person you're talking to.
Right.
So it's bigger than yourself, and you have an obligation. If you really love this business and you love what this business means, you have an obligation to get over yourself. Right? Am I right?
Right.
Because it's not about you, it's about them.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is so big. And I did cry. So it was not ugly cry.
Right. And it's true, because when I went to Super Saturday right after Summit, Sandy Sylvia, like, she had a real similar story. Not a separation story like that, or not being here, but just being a mother. And that's another thing. Not feeling like you're not a good mother because you're going through these issues. And of course, my husband, whatever, is gone all the time. Even when we're together, gone all the time. And who do you think gets the brunt of all my anxiety, my heartbreak, my turmoil? My son, my poor child. So had I not, when I work out to get that out, and so I did a handstand. That handstand changed like 3 people's lives because they did the workout. So it's just that whole domino. I mean, and that's what Summit's all about. It is thousands of dominoes in one place. That it's incredible. It's a feel good, awesome, and you get to learn some outbreak stuff, but it's just, and you walk around with all these, it's like you're like in heaven. You're walking with all these angels around you all the time, giving you all this support. It's I mean, even after that last night when you came out, we all were a group and you were talking and crying, I'm just like, this is what it's about, I mean,
that's exactly
it was awesome. Yeah.
And to have that many people get it, it's you cannot describe it. And Carrie, don't make me cry, because she just said the same thing. If it hadn't been for her, Carrie has been a customer of mine from probably day one. And the reason I know that, this is kind of funny. The reason I know that is that when I exported my customers years ago into my contacts at some point, and they all capitalize them. And so whenever I text somebody and I put their name in it, if I type in Carrie, it capitalizes every single time. But what's funny about it is that it reminds me that she was around years ago, and she was a customer, and she was a quiet one, and she came back and she fell away, and she came back and she fell away, and then now she's this beast. I mean, like, it's so amazing for me to watch. But it wasn't something that I was on a mission to have her sign up as a coach, and it just, because I reached out to somebody and it was the right time, that it's just the snowball effect. And it's crazy that you have that effect. And so when people get so hung up on not being successful or quitting, it freaking drives me nuts, because everybody on this team joins because their heart says to join.
Right.
And by quitting, you're quitting on somebody else. You're not just quitting on you, but you're quitting on somebody else, like your kids or somebody that you are not having that conversation with. So I think that this call was unreal, and I think that and again, it's not me saying it, because I say, but you're a reflection of exactly what this coaching is all about. It's not easy, but it's worth every heartache, pain in the ass, customer that doesn't do something, someone that buys off of beachbody.com, someone that just keeps giving you a hard time, like, that doesn't matter. And you just shared with us that exactly why that is. So I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Do you guys have any questions? If you have a question, pop it in the chat for Maria, and then I want to see. I'm going to unmute the phone lines because you can't type. In case they have a question. Okay. You guys on the phone have any questions for Maria? I'm going to take that as a no. Okay. And then, and there are no extra chats. If you do, of course, go ahead and post it on the team page then. And then we got to get our screenshot for this, for the party, Sunday night party. Okay, so I'm going to, let's see, gallery view. And then you guys can go off onto your own Sunday night. Start this week off awesome tomorrow. I'm going to be posting in the free group, in the 21-day fix group. We're prepping for next week and have lots of conversations. And please help me with these groups. If you have suggestions, and that's why I started the thread, please share. I want these groups to be your groups, not my groups, okay? I'm just the lead on this. All right, let's take a screenshot. Let me get it ready for your beautiful smiles. Which I like, this is like the most fun. Okay, everybody do your hair, you're good to go. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, guys, have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria.